Good morning, everyone, and welcome. I'm Jean, and this is Friday's Stitch Tips and Chat with Captain Stitches. Welcome, and thank you for joining me this morning. I see that Glenda is here, Polly, Christine. Christine must have had her notifications on this morning. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining me this morning. And there is Danielle. Welcome. Thank you. This morning we are going to be talking, of course, about the Heart in Hand Complete Round Robin Quilt Challenge. And we're also going to be having some fun with yo-yos. So I hope you will all join in on some of that fun. Get inspired, grab a needle and some thread, and we can stitch. And welcome, Carol. Good morning. And there is Nancy with our treasured home. Good morning to you. Before we get started in on everything, we'll just give a little bit of time for everyone that is coming this morning to pop on, grab a beverage. Mine is hot coffee this morning. Excuse me for taking a drink, but need that this morning. And good morning, Susan. It's great to see you also. Great to have you all joining me this morning. I know it's pretty cold in some of our areas, and several of us are keeping our eye on the weather report and how much snow and wind we are going to be impacted with during the upcoming snowstorm. We shall see. I'm not really thinking that we're going to get very much here, but you never know. It is January, and as they say in every state, just give it a while and the weather can change at any time. So we will see, but I'm prepared. I'm ready. I'm a good old northern gal, so I'm used to the cold weather and snow. As long as I don't have to get out and drive in it anymore and there's no ice to worry about slipping and falling on, I'm fine. I can stay nice and cozy in the stitching room and get a lot done. But February is always the worst. Yes, February can be a really bad and unpredictable month. And of course, Nancy is saying, let it snow. She has been praying for snow. So her and Anastasia are wanting the snow. 36 with wind chill of 27. Well, it's only 26 degrees here, and I don't know what the wind chill is. I know it was only like 20 when I got up this morning. But good morning, Lorraine. Great to see you also. So let me, for those of you that are here bright and early and on time, let me show you how far I have gotten on the first round. It's this part section right here isn't sewn on yet, so we'll hold it as well as I can so things don't fall off. And of course, I'm talking from behind it. We'll try and get my head over it. But the vote that came in was a tie between Applique and the Friendship Star, which I don't know if you can see how teeny tiny those Friendship Stars are, but that was quite a challenge, getting those 13 little pieces that make up a Friendship Star into a 2-inch block, which the half square triangles in this Friendship Star finish at 5/8 of an inch. So that is small. Good morning, June. Great to see you also this morning. But so I ended up piecing the Friendship Stars, putting one in each corner, and then I did an applique vine with a heart. And these sections are all complete. On this side, I have the rest of the vine to applique down and the heart to applique down. Then both of these can be pieced onto this, and it can be added to the rest of it, and it will be complete and ready for round 2, which you will be voting on today in the comments after the live video is over, and we will go into detail on that a little bit more also. Thank you, June. Thank you, Glenda. Also, yes, it is tiny. Christine says it is beautiful. Thank you. Yes, when I first saw what I was going to have to do for that first round, I thought, oh my goodness. And then when I actually designed the block to get it so it would fit in that 2-inch border, and I saw how small those pieces were going to have to be cut and sewn, that is when I did the little short, and I said, OMG, challenge accepted. But it's like, I like a good challenge. I like working with tiny pieces. So that was all right. It was fun to figure out how to get those to come together into that first round, which I do my designing in EQ8. And of course, since you don't know what is going to be taking place, can only do parts of it at a time. But that is how that first round ended up looking through the designing of it. So, and I wanted to go into a little bit of explanation for those of you who may be interested on what tools and techniques I used in the making of that round. And the first thing, of course, was I had to make the friendship stars, and that is where I designed that block, drew it out by hand on EQ8 to get it to be the dimensions that I wanted it to be. And the half square triangles, I believe, were cut out of 1.5 inch strips. Yes, part of it was out of 1.5 inch strips, part of it was out of 1 1/8. And then, of course, the borders themselves were cut out of 2.5 inch strips. I used this little template for my heart applique. And what I use on my fabrics when I am tracing my applique is for the first initial one right around the template, laid there where I couldn't see it, it disappeared. I always use the general chalk pencil, of course, depending on the fabric. If it's a light fabric, that won't show up, and then I would have to use my bone chalk pencil. But those are the two things that I use. I marked the first one with the chalk because that is the one that you will be turning your line on, and of course you don't want that to show up after you have appliqued that. Good morning, Kathy, and good morning, Lori. And she is saying hi to the chatters as well. I love that. But so you go around your template first with this. And of course, you need approximately 1/4 inch to be able to turn under, because I do needle turn applique. I do not do machine applique. And what I use for that, and I'll leave it in here, is this little simple seam wheel. I think you can see the little hole in the middle there. That is where you place your pencil. You place it on the edge of your template and you go around it, and it gives you that 1/4 inch. This one happens to be one from Jen Kingwell Designs. There are other ones available, but I like this one because it is metal and is very sturdy and works very well. So that is what I use for that. And then for the the vine applique that was going around, I used bias bars to make that. I used the 1/4 inch one, which means that the strip to begin with was cut at 7/8 of an inch. That's 7/8 of an inch wide. Real nice big pieces that people gave me for the challenge this time. And that had to be folded in half and pressed and then stitched with a 1/4 inch, no, 1/8 of an inch seam. And then this bar is slid in through there, that seam is brought to the back and it is pressed. And that is how the vine is made for me to applique. And then you applique it down on both. I will pull this one off. This edge is already appliqued down. This needs to be appliqued down yet. And then, of course, and you can see the marking on that heart there with the white chalk, and it will be appliqued then with needle turn applique on top of that vine. But that is the technique that I used for that. And the bias bars come in sets like these, which I have had mine forever. I purchased them at a local quilt shop in my area that is no longer in business, but I'm sure you can still find them at your local quilt shop, or you can just research and see whether they have them on Amazon or where they may be available. They are called bias bars from the Celtic Design Company. And the reason for two is they are different sizes in each set. So that is what I used in the putting together of that round of the Heart and Hand Day Complete Round Robin Quilt Challenge. So now we will go ahead and we will pull. I want to make sure I haven't missed anyone popping in here. We will go ahead and draw three. Oh, I got my little red clip on here because these two are the applique and the friendship star that we used last round. So just for this next round, we won't include those in there because don't want the same ones to be in the very next round. They may be used in another round, but not the one we just did. So we'll mix those up. And while I'm mixing those up, I just want to remind you that there is that join button. If you are interested in seeing what my membership levels are and what they entail for perks, click on that join button and you will get all the information for that. So it is there, and I haven't yet because there is so many things to do to get ready for so many things. I will be doing a little intro video to put with that when you click that button, and there will be a little intro video with me explaining what they are and that also, which I hope to do that this afternoon after I'm finished with our live. But it is there for any of you that may be interested. Okay, so let's see what our first choice for the vote is. And again, we will pull three of these, and those will be your choices to vote from. And the voting will be done in the comments section of this video, live video, after the live is over. Voting won't take place in the chat. It will take place in the comments section. And you have 24 hours to vote. After 24 hours, I will tally the votes so I can get started on that second round of the round robin. And I will pin a comment with what the choices are for you to vote on. So the first one is crumb blocks or strips. Some of you may be familiar with what crumb blocks or strips are. It's taking up your scraps and just putting them together into, it could either be a block or it can be a strip, which would be the full border. That is just random scraps that are pieced together. So that is the first one. Good morning, Blondie. Hey, watching on the TV. And yes, I can't believe that you're catching me either. Thank you, thank you. And there is Brenda. Thank goodness it's Friday, she says. Yes, it really doesn't make any difference. I hardly ever know what day it is anyway, but I know to those of you that still work outside the home, the days do make a difference. But it is so great to see you, Blondie. So that was the first one, crumb blocks or strips. And the next one, don't peek in there, Jean. Getting them apart is the hard part, is piano keyboarder. And if you aren't familiar with piano keyboarder, it is straight strips of fabric sewn together, similar to the right behind me, that border right by my finger. that is considered a piano key border. It can be different widths, but it's strips that are sewn together, usually leftovers from what you used in the quilt itself. So that is the second choice. And we will pull one more. Thank you. Yes, thumbs up, everybody. And the last choice, come apart there, is Churn dash blocks. So those are the three to vote from. We have Churn dash blocks, piano keyboarder, or Crumb blocks or strips. And I will put those, as I said, in a pinned comment, so you will know which ones you are voting on for the next round of the round robin. What is the width of the next border? The next border is a 4-inch border. Nice size. Nice size. So we have a good space to work with there. And there is Maritza. Good morning, Maritza. Hola. It is great to see you this morning also. So, and it's always nice after working on something challenging to have a little something, because it's like reading a book. You finish a book and you're excited to start the next book. So when you are working on one project and you're done with what you're doing with it, you're still excited and want something else to stitch. If you're like me at all, or most stitchers anyway, you always have to have something that you're working with, your hands going at all the time. So when you've been working on something challenging, like the small pieces that I was working with on the first round of that round robin, it's nice to have something simple, a little bit mindless, but fun to work on, just to kind of calm you back down, relax you and everything. And so that is where the fun with yo-yos comes in today, because yo-yos are an awesome and fun, quick little something to be stitching on. And there are so many ways that they can be used, and so many projects, ideas, and patterns that you can come up with to use them. And I'm going to show you, first of all, I have my basket full of supplies here. First of all, I am going to show you a few things that are made using yo-yos, which this one is a little table runner that I have made with yo-yos. Get it in there. And it is made out of 30s prints that I had. But that is one way that yo-yos can be made and used. That's what the backside looks like. But just connected for a simple, easy to label. The label's just written right there on the back of one of the yo-yos. But that is one. Thank you, Danielle. She is saying it is beautiful. I'm just going to toss that over there out of the way as I do it. And there are also endless possibilities and ideas. If you go on Pinterest and just put in yo-yo projects, you will find many, many, many things that can be made with yo-yos. And that is where I found the inspiration for my layered hearts. This is not my layered hearts. This is a picture from Pinterest. But the idea of using yo-yos in the sashing, I think you can see them there, which that's a double yo-yo. It's a yo-yo with a little one on top of it. And then there is an outer border of yo-yos going all the way around that, which is the way that I will be finishing my layered hearts quilt. But that's another idea. Yes, just in time for Easter and spring, Danielle, is what the table runner. And that is what it was intended for. So thank you. And Glenda is saying that she wants to thank me for sharing the crochet needle. I bought my daughter and myself those. Very easy on the hands. Yes, yes. I love them. Love them, love them, love them. And I believe you are referring to the Furls crochet hooks. Yes, they have become my very favorite of all time. I do have two trigger fingers in my left hand. Well, one finger and the thumb. The middle finger and the thumb are trigger fingers, so I have a problem with those. I have problem with multiple forms of arthritis and everything, but I still love to do my stitching by hand, whether it be crocheting, hand piecing quilt blocks, doing embroidery, all kinds of stitching. So I did find that those are ones that do not hurt my hands. Of course, over time or whatever, the pushing on it with the thumb, you may get just a little bit, in the tip of your thumb, but love them. Very easy on the hands. Thank you for mentioning that, Glinda. And I'm glad that you and your daughter found them interesting and fun. I better take this out before this chips over. But in a minute, I'm going to show you the different sizes of the yo-yos also. But there are several patterns that you can make with yo-yos, which Indygo Junction has a bunch of animal patterns. Hello, Jody. Good morning. Good morning. It is great to see you. And I think almost every one of them that they have, which this is one which is a little bunny, and it always comes with the yo-yo and then one that is stuffed. So it has two different ways of doing them. I have these because I like to make them for charity, to give to children's hospitals, fire departments, EMTs, that type of thing, to be able to hand out to children that have been involved in a traumatic situation. But this is the bunny one, and this happens to be all the yo-yos already made up for that. And just to give you an idea of what the supplies that you need when you are putting one of those together, you need the self-sculptured dowel needles. Not a lot of things that you really need, but you need some fray check. And depending on which you are making, try and grab it out of here. I know I have, yeah, we have them in there. Okay. You need little buttons for the eyes. And then you need, they recommend using dental floss, the long kind, not the other, but for part of the sewing, which that would be for like sewing on the eyes and the facial parts and everything. And then you need recommended upholstery thread, which I do have, but I don't know where I had placed it right now. If you don't have upholstery thread, the thing that I have found that is also good to use is your DMC floss, because it is sturdy and you can use 2-3 strands of that to make sure that with little kids playing with it and tugging on it, that it doesn't break and all come apart. So those are some of the supplies that you need in the putting together of one of those animals. And we'll slip that back down in there. And that one is all ready to be put together later. And just to show you some of the other ones that they have, is they have this cute little dog also. And hello, Tracy. Welcome. Great to see you this morning also. They also, of course, have a little kitty cat, a little mouse up here. They have an elephant. They have a bear. They have a little dog. Reminds me of the ones you used to get to have autographed. Remember those? If you're not as old as me, maybe not. But yes, aren't they adorable, Tracy? And this is the clown. That is the one that my grandmother had, of course, she didn't have a yo-yo maker back then. She, made the little circles by hand. But she had the clown that she kept on the back of the couch. And I remember as a little girl always grabbing that and playing with that every time I went to my grandmother's house. And then we have a monkey. We even have for the seasons. So we have a spider and we have a jack-o'-lantern. And then, of course, for Christmas, we have Santa Claus, the reindeer, and the snowman. So those are the ones, which this is the only one. Well, it is Indygo Junction. They just put a different kind of label on it where it says Yuletide yo-yos up top, but it is still by Indygo Junction. And when I tried to put Indygo Junction in, it did not come up. So I'm not sure, but you can check and do a little research on your own. I will put the name of the pattern. I think I already may have into the description box. If I haven't, I will put that in there after the video is over for those. But then you have several different sizes. Let me try and pull these out of here without losing them. And when you look at the size of the maker, you have to remember that's not the size of the finished yo-yo. Maritza says she also remembers the clown and the monkey. Yes, cute. But this is the jumbo size, which ends up making a yo-yo this size. But they have the jumbo, and then they have the extra large, which is one I use most frequently, and it ends up with this size, which is the size that was in the table runner that you saw that I had made. And this just shows two of them stitched together. Very simple, just, little whip stitch together. You can even do it on the sewing machine if you want for that. And then they also have the large size. And this is the size that comes out. Stack those together. They have the small. We're getting down there in size. And then they have the extra small, which is teeny tiny. But those are all the sizes, and these are, they come packaged like this, and they are from Clover. And you can find those on Amazon. I know a lot of your quilt shops also have them. I believe Hobby Lobby carries them. I'm not sure what other places, but I do know that they are very much available on Amazon. So, and they come in sets of different sizes or the individual sizes, however it is that you want to get those. But set that off to the side, and I will also show you and share with you some of the other. Don't only have them that make, and I don't know why, but we always end up with things missing. All right, no problem, June. Bye-bye. We'll see you later. What size does the doll use? They use different sizes. The bunny uses the jumbo, the extra large. No, that's not the bunny. I'm sorry. That's a pincushion I'm making. I don't know. The directions tell you, but they use different sizes depending on it, and it tells you what size is on the patterns, but they use a variety of sizes. I'm not sure right off the top of my head. Each pattern has different for that. But they also come that you can make these little hearts. And then they have ones, and this is a little deceiving when you see it. It shows the flower, and then it has the maker down here. but that maker makes the individual petals, and then you sew the petals together to make the flowers. And they have several different ones for those in sizes as well. But really cute. So there are a bunch of possibilities with these. Great to be able to add and make. And then they always have suggestions on the back on ways to use them. There's a beautiful pillow made out of that. This shows kind of like wedding accessories made with those. And then there's also this one, which I love. I love the project on the back of that one. I think that would be awesome to make. And we're getting into some bigger ones here. Love the way in this. Yeah. I think, oh, well, it's squished together. But love that brooch button in the middle of that one. I even show making up a little bouquet of flowers. But yeah, we're just getting into bigger sizes on basically pretty much the same, but you see the endless possibilities. And then this one is actually an oval yo-yo instead, which you can combine that with the round ones. Round one in the middle, the ovals going around it, and there you have a great different shape to make a block come together to put together like a quilt. And then you can also make butterflies with them. And this is just the larger of the butterfly. But those are some great ideas on showing you all the different yo-yo makers that are available out there for you to have fun and play with. All righty. So what do I have for you for a cute little project that I am going to be working on today? And it is also from Indygo Junction. And it is several pincushions patterns on here. And I am going to be working on this one right here today. And there is Lara. Welcome. Good morning. Great to see you this morning. And for that one, we need, for the pincushion foundation itself, we need one of the jumbo yo-yos. For the bottom of the yo-yo, we will need one out of the extra large. And Blondie says she has never used the yo-yo maker, fascinated by the Indygo Junction. Is the yo-yo maker Blondie proof? I believe it is. It is. I would say they are I don't know how that yo-yo got in there. They are child proof, so they're definitely Blondie proof. And we will need the small. And for this particular one, it's I need 19 of the small, one of the extra large, and one of the jumbo. And there's a suggestion on the back for supplies for that is a fat quarter bundle and your threads, which I happen to have had. I've already cut. That's why this is a little messy now. But I've had this Pioneer Woman fabric fat quarter bundle for quite some time and decided it was the perfect fat quarter bundle to get out to work with on my first pincushion. And so I did pre-cut the squares. I'm trying to figure out why this large is in there. Because that's the jumbo, that's the extra large, and these are the small. I'm not sure how that ended up in there. Sure. But anyway, this is the square, and it doesn't matter that this selvage is on there because it's going to be trimmed off. So rather than waste some fabric by trimming that off first, I just leave it on there. Because when you put these in your yo-yo maker, which you will notice, I have mine marked because I take these places and work on them with others when I'm doing stuff for charity, and it's easy to end up with your yo-yo makers and everything disappearing. And I mark the little tab up there because that is the beginning section. But you're going to take your square of fabric, and with the bottom disc, the one with the little hole in it, you are going to put it centered on top of that, with the right side of the fabric down, the wrong side facing up. And then you are going to take your other part, and you need to find where you marked your beginning. Mine is right there, and you have to make sure that it's lined up with one of those others. And I'm going to lay that down real quick to do that. Can't quite do that with it standing up. There we are. But that snaps, and you will hear it snap together. Just snapping it right on there, and it makes that click. If it doesn't make that click, as Kathy has found out, the holes will not line up and your needle will not go through the marks for stitching. Yes. I taught Kathy one day real quick I was working on them and showed her how to do that. But the next step in this is you are going to trim the excess of your fabric around there. And the way that I do that is I hold it with this side, and I just use the edge of my circle to trim closely around there, because you don't want too much excess, or that makes your center not want to pull up nice. And I'm just trimming that all the way around there. Hello, Jody. I missed you pop on. Welcome. Thank you for joining us today. There's a lot of information in the beginning on the round robin, so any of you popping on here a little late may want to go back and watch the replay after the live is over, so you can get all of that information also. And just cutting that, trimming it all the way around. And this isn't anything I'm going to use, so we'll just get rid of that. And I use heavy-duty hand quilting thread for my thread. I have my needle already. I know you can't see the thread. It's, see, magic. But I have it threaded, and you want to make sure that you have a long thread on that, because it needs to make it all the way around, or you will not be able to gather it. If you run out of thread and have to tie a knot, that doesn't work for gathering. So make sure you have it long enough to go all the way around your maker. But I have to find my beginning one. But where you have marked your beginning, which mine I have black marker on that, that is where you are going to begin. And you start from the front right on. And it's always fun getting it to start in the hole the first time. And of course, I know it's lined up. I'm missing the hole for some reason. There we go. I was just missing it. But you're going to start on this side, so your knot is on the wrong side when you are finished. And you can see it has, you see those little slots? That is where you are going to be putting your needle. And you have to make sure that you are only going from here to here and here to here, never across from here to here, or you have sewn it to your yo-yo maker and you won't be able to get it off. And that's very disappointing when you find out that you have done that. And believe me, everybody that makes the yo-yos ends up doing that at least once. So don't feel bad if you do that and you go, oh no. But you're just going to go up and down in those holes, holding the little bit that you trimmed with your thumb on the inside as you go around, keeping that down. And that is your little 1/4 inch that you would be doing if you had just cut your circles from fabric and were doing the gathering stitch around that. But it really doesn't take, of course, on the jumbo, it's going to take a little longer than the other, but it does not take long by using one of these because you know exactly where to put your stitches. Everything is there to make your yo-yo. And this one, when it is made, is actually going to be gathered and it will be stuffed because it will be the base of our pincushion. And make sure I haven't missed anybody. But all of a sudden, the chat can scroll and get away from you easily. So if I do miss anybody's comment or they're popping in or a question, don't be afraid to ask it again so that it will pop up again if I missed it the first time. But I am just going around in each one of those holes, like I said, holding it with my thumb to keep it down as I go. And it's easier to do this down in your lap than up on a desk while you are sewing them. They are very relaxing, very easy and fun to do. If you have kids, you can sit down and you can all be working on yo-yos at the same time and really have some fun making some cute projects. Lots of cute Christmas ornaments that you can make with yo-yos. And of course, wouldn't the kids just love to make one of those animals, which the facial part and part that has to be done with the sewing machine, you might have to do for them, but they would have a great time making the yo-yos for the arms and the legs and all of that. And Laura says that would be a great group project. Yes, which I used to have a charity group that met every week. And that is why I have all the patterns, because we did sit there as a group and make yo-yos for the animals. They would get a little sheet, a little bag that you'd make up, and they would know how many yo-yos of each size that they needed to make. So if they didn't finish them while we were meeting as the group, they would take their little bag home with them and bring them to the next meeting so that we would have them to put together into the animals. Good morning, Katie. It's great to see you. And like I said, they are awesome to make for charity. It uses up, I mean, we all have scrapes. Yeah, we have scrapes too, but we all have scraps, and it is a great way of using up your scraps. If you don't have scraps of the size you need, like I said, you know, the fat quarters, any pre-cuts, you will find that the layer cakes and the charm squares work great for making your yo-yos. The charm squares will work for the large, the orange size. They are perfect for it because you need a 4.5 inch square for the orange. So the charm squares work awesome for those. And I did have a little package, but even those little mini charms, they will work for the, not the small, but yeah, this little extra small one, those little mini charm packs that you see, they work great for that. I have to make sure that I'm at the right place here and I don't end up doing what I told you all not to and sewing to my form. That would not be good. My template, my yo-yo maker, whatever you want to call it, but they are great and awesome, and it's so much easier just to cut a strip of fabric, cut the squares the size that you need for the particular yo-yo, and if you write it on your yo-yo, I have it written what size square it needs on each one of mine. Very easy. Then you don't have to look up every time to see, okay, what size square did I need to fit in that yo-yo maker. Good morning, Cafe Riles. Thank you for joining us. And I am back to my beginning. And when you get to the beginning, you want to make sure that you go back in to where you started and do that stitch one more time. And that is where you will end. And then you keep your needle in there, and you're just going to take, and you're going to, you're going to pop it out, which this one hasn't been used as much. It's a little tight. And you're just going to pop that right out of there. Comes right out of that part. I lay that down. I'm trying to see where it'll show clear over here. Goodness. And you are going to, holding your thread taut, you're just going to start to slip this off the form here on the edge. And then it will slide right off there. Move that part. And what I do is I lay it back down in the outer part just to keep it around there. I know you can't see that. You can't see that too well. And what I do is I pull my thread down, but I stick, and this is going to take a couple fingers, but where that hole is in the middle, I stick my hand there while I'm pulling that, and it keeps it coming up until you get just about all of it. And because my thread's long, I'm going to pull that back down there. But then you just continue to pull this. And this one, we will not be pulling tight, but I'm going to pull it tight just to show you, because this will be the actual one for the base. But you would go ahead and you would knot that, but because this is our yo-yo, our pincushion base, it is going to be stuffed. So we are not closing that hole up yet. I am going to leave my needle in that one, because we will be putting stuffing in there and then closing that hole up, because it's going to be the base part. Yo, Patty G says, wow, you should have said, yo, I want a big yo-yo maker. Yes, this is the jumbo one, which uses a 9-inch square of fabric. So again, the layer cakes, if you have some laying around, would be great for this size. But yeah, and you end up with a nice, and like I said, this would be pulled tauter, but I'm not pulling it tight, because I have to stuff that, because it is going to be the base of our pincushion. That all the other ones, because I'm making that one that's orange. Do you see that there with all the other yo-yos around it? That is the one that I am making. So otherwise, you would normally be pulling that straight and taut, but I'm just going to put my needle in there for now. So that one, my base is done and ready. And all we have left to do are the other sizes, which I have 19 of the small to make. Those are the ones that go around the outside of the pincushion. And I have one of the extra large to make, and it is going to be on the bottom of that pincushions. After it's done, it will be the one that covers up this hole and sits on the bottom. Everything else is going to be, because it'll be poofy when I stuff it, are there going to be sewn around on that. And so again, all you have to do is take off your inside part, pops right out of there. Put your fabric right side down, centered on your yo-yo maker, and you can see that's where my start's going to be. I also have a line right here to line up with my start, and it goes the shiny side down. The ones with the lines and everything on it are the upside. I'm trying to look through there and cheat to see where my beginning is, and it's not quite there. Make sure it's lined up, and then you need to check and make sure that your fabric is still pretty much centered on there. And then you are going to just click, and you will hear that little pop. When you hear that pop, you know everything's lined up correctly. And then again, and you can trim also from this side if you prefer. I just think it's easier to see the edge from the other side, but either side will work, and you're just trimming that so that you only have about 1/4 of an inch all the way around. Very quick and easy to do. Patty G says, I use cardboard and plastic cutting mat in the yo-yo on the bottom of the rose pincushion. Oh, okay. Great to know. These don't call for anything on the bottom. None of these call for putting anything on the bottom of it. They're just soft on the bottom also. Oh, the rose pincushion. The rose pincushion. This one right here, hanging right on the edge of my sewing machine, is the one she is referring to. And yes, it does have the stiffness on it because you're wearing it on your wrist. Okay. After I think about what you were saying there, I got that, and that's a great tip. Thank you. Thank you for that tip. I need to put this one back away before I lose that. Stick it in there. And I don't want to lose my one that I just made either. But so there we have another one ready to sew and go, just like I made the other one. They're all made the same. They all have the holes in the back for you to put your needle. Shows you can see them right there. That's where you're always putting your needle. So everything is spaced evenly and perfectly around. And I'm not going to sew the rest of those on there. I won't keep you on here that long to see that, but I will share with you in another video or whatever the putting together and the final pincushion there, which I think I'm going to make at least one of every one of those that is in that pattern, because I love pincushions and I never have enough of them around the house. And I think my clock, I'm having a problem with my clock. It's keeps stopping on me, so I think it's time to get a new one because I've replaced the batteries 5 times now and it still stops. So thank you, Patty. Oh, Katie had some bad Mexican food. Stomach was not happy. Back to normal. I'm glad that you are back to normal today, Katie. Sorry to hear that. And Patty G says she can't wait to see my finished pincushion. Thank you. Yes, I'm glad that Katie is feeling better. It's not fun to not feel well. None of us like to feel bad. So if you have any questions on anything that I have shared with you today, go ahead and ask them. I had to look and see what time it actually is on my laptop because my clock is, it's a whole hour, an hour behind. It's like, oh, I know that I have been talking longer than that. And you know that too. So, okay. But so I hope that you have enjoyed seeing. I know that I have shared with before things on the yo-yos, which I forgot to show the little one down here that I'm working on hand quilting it, but that is another way to use the yo-yos. I did the applique and appliqued them down, and it'll be a little wall hanging, a cute little thing of flowers in a little vase or flower pot, whatever you want to call that. But that's another way to use them in a project. But I am hand quilting that one, so it is not quite done yet. Thank you, Christine. She says she loves the flower pot with the flowers. And thank you also, Laura and Yo Patty G. I love saying that. I'm sorry. I'm sure you get tired of hearing that, but anyway. And I lost my train of thought, but everything that I use today, I will make sure is in the description box after this video is over. Don't forget to vote for the next round. You see how fun this one came out. And, after that first round, I'm ready to take on any challenge that you give me. So don't be worried about which one you vote on. Just go for what you would like to see. And like I said, after 24 hours, I will tally the votes and I will get started with planning and designing the next round of the round robin by whatever it is that you vote for. And again, those choices are the crumb blocks or strips, the piano keyboarder, or the churn dash blocks. So those are the three choices, and that will be on a pinned comment in the comments after this video is over as well. You never get tired of hearing that. That's awesome. Okay, so then I don't feel bad about continuing to say it. Oh, man. Very, very nice. So if no one has any questions, then I will see you all on Monday is my next scheduled live. And that, of course, is the weekly stitch talk, where if it has anything to do with stitching, we will talk about it and also share some of the projects that are going on for that. And there are also in the membership, there's two different levels for what is included in the private Facebook group that is for members only. And that the one level does include a block of the month, and the other level does include a quarterly 2-day retreat on Zoom, and which will also include a pattern designed by myself. So just so that you know that is available, and you can find that information again by clicking on that join button and finding out the different levels of the membership. So if you haven't given the thumbs up, don't forget to give the thumbs up to the video. Thank you again, everyone, for watching. Have a great day. Have a great weekend. Be safe and happy stitching. And remember, I can keep you in stitches. Bye-bye, everyone.